Well, Ulysses, there was no Rays baseball yesterday, so we figured why not? Let's get a couple of mailbag questions out of the way.
And it was good for all of our mental health to just have a day off from baseball. So we're really happy that we get to do this mailbag episode with 2 voice memos. So let's get started right now.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we're the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays. You can also follow us on the social medias, X and Instagram at Locked On Rays. Oh, that's gonna take a while.
No, we're not doing that, right? It's just gonna be like I saw this tweet. Okay, I'm putting my foot down. Yeah. I saw this tweet today that we're just gonna the tweet said we're all just gonna do the whole Sears Tower thing on this, right? Which is so funny. Like, yeah, that's
fair. We're on social media at Locked On Rays. Follow us there. You can also email us anytime, lockedonrays@gmail.com. We prefer the voice memos, which we'll get to a couple of those today. So those are some learning lessons there if you're interested in sending a voice memo our way. All right, without further ado, let's get right into them. This first one from Owen.
Hello, it is Owen, and I have another question for Locked On Rays. Nearing the trade deadline and the Rays needing a pitcher, I think that the Tampa Bay Rays should get Carlos Estevez. He made the All-Star game as the Los Angeles Angels' only other All-Star besides Shohei Ohtani. And I don't think he pitched, but he is really good. In case you don't know who he is the 8th best AL reliever. So the Rays could trade like Aranda or Brujan and another like small prospect for him. And speaking of you guys, when you said that the Rays could get Greinke, I think that we should trade the person who doesn't get traded out of the Brujan or Aranda, him and one-on-one for Zach Greinke. And if the Royals and Angels accept, that would be pretty cool. And then the Rays pitching would probably be solved. Another thing is, what do you think it would take for the Rays to get Shohei Ohtani? In my opinion, I don't think the Rays are going to get him, but what do you think it would take? In my opinion, I think the Rays would trade Brandon Lau, Drew Rasmussen, and Curtis Mead if they even wanted Ohtani. And that would probably barely get it. So, I'm just excited to hear what you guys think. Thank you.
All right. We appreciate the question, Owen. Love it. Ulysses, what part of that question do you want to tackle first?
Well, first of all, Owen, you're awesome, dude. You're awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of energy there. I love it.
I should just step away. Owen can take my spot.
My goodness, Owen. Yeah, that was pretty good. Okay. Let's tackle the last one.
I'm like the aging vet that knows when the hotshot prospect gets called up. I know my days are numbered.
The prospect list, Owen is rising up rather quickly.
Who was the Rays third baseman in 2007? I don't know.
Oh, poor Willie Ibotta.
Ty Wigington? I don't know. Yeah. Whatever.
Okay, let's do the last one. First of all, I appreciate that Owen didn't go with like prospect 1, 2, 3. Nah, he's like, oh, you guys want Shohei Ohtani? Okay, here you go. Brandon Lau, Drew Rasmussen. What was the third name that he said? I forget.
Curtis Mead.
Curtis Mead. Look at that. That's a package. Yeah. I mean, wow.
I would think it would be a much better attractive package if Brandon Lau has shown some stability health-wise, and Drew Rasmussen literally is out of commission right now. So I think the names are right, but the circumstances wouldn't allow that deal to be pulled off. And I think that whoever is trading for Shohei Ohtani would get more than what the Rays, if that's what the Rays would put forward, I think the Angels would say, no, we know we can get better, possibly a lot better from, a couple teams out there.
I feel like if Brendan Lau was the 2021 Brendan Lau and Drew Rasmussen hadn't gotten hurt, that could possibly be enough. Those three names. But like you said, with the injuries, it just might take a bit more than that. But I like Owen going outside the box on that one and not just going, me to rant, all that stuff. That was pretty good.
No.
Now the first one, Carlos Estevez, right? The Angels reliever.
Yes. Well, I don't know if he's a reliever or if he's an offensive lineman in the NFL or a defensive end in the NFL at 6'6", 277 pounds.
That's a big man.
Monstrous.
That's a big. You don't say. I mean, you just keep your distance. Say yes.
Yes, talk about crazy eyes all you want. Talk about Kyle Farnsworth. We know he can fight. Carlos Estevez is a big boy throwing 99 at you.
Yeah. It must be a very scary at bat. For those that don't know, he's pitched 40 innings, 23 saves. He's got an ERA plus of 2.20, FIP of 3.76, a WHIP of 1.25.
So what you're saying is he's been basically one of the best relievers in baseball this year.
Basically, if I need to nitpick, because of course I will nitpick, I think the WHIP is a little bit too high for my taste at 1.25. The hits and the walks together do seem like he gets into a lot of traffic on the bases. Like I said, 40 innings pitched, but with the hits that are 30 allowed plus the walks that are 23, it might make for a lot of traffic there for him on the bases, which then you can, if he strikes people out, that would be great, which in 40 innings, he struck out 48 people, which is good. But then when you put the ratios of the strikeout to walk ratio, it's not great when it's around what I think, let me do quick math, around 15 to 1. So I don't know. I think for a reliever for the Rays, if they really want to punch it, he would improve the bullpen. 100% he would. I just don't know that more walks, more traffic, and not a strikeout machine is exactly what you need right now. You need somebody that whiffs people, because even the guys that are supposed to be whiffing bats are not doing that in the Rays bullpen.
I understand. I would like to see him in a Rays uniform. I think it would be a sight to see. The delivery does give me pause just because it is so unorthodox, which I think could give hitters fits. But then again, what's going to happen to that arm? What's going to happen to that shoulder, that elbow? But I guess he's been using the same delivery since 2016, and he's been very stable and healthy. So what do I know? And speaking of pitching since 2016, he pitched in Colorado. So for him to be able to hold fort and be mildly or more than mildly successful, where pitching in Colorado, we know what that does to pitchers, but it really impacts guys like him in reducing spin-based movement and just the carry and the horizontal break on fastballs. I mean, it's just a recipe for disaster. So I think, and to your point about the walk rate and the whip, I guess the scouting report on him is that he can locate the fastball, but he has no idea where his secondary pitches are going, which is a problem. And maybe that's where you could have a guy like, Kyle Snyder can work his magic, fellow 6'6", and get him on the straight and narrow in a relatively short span. Or maybe it's just a thing of, hey, you can pretty much ditch your secondaries entirely and get away with throwing that heater and until somebody figures it out. So I like him. I like what he's done this season. Are there better options out there? Sure, but I know that Bud Black has been very complimentary of him, saying that he has the closer mentality, which I think is important, bring some competition into the bullpen. And I think he's a guy that it wouldn't move the needle as much as other guys out there, but I think it would certainly be an improvement. Now, the other thing I like too is that he would theoretically be in a Rays uniform again next year because he signed a 2-year, $13.5 million contract with the Angels. The issue I have, I guess, with Owen's proposal here is I don't think a combination of Brujan and or Aranda would get the job done for Carlos Estevez. For one, I think they would be seeking pitching help. They would be seeking a starter prospect or a Taj Bradley-esque guy. I don't think, and I know the offensive numbers are going to take a downturn once they trade Shohei Ohtani or once he's no longer on the team. But I think their idea would be to collect as many arms as they can. I mean, isn't that what they did in the 2021 draft? They just drafted all pitchers.
20 pitchers they drafted.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying 20 out of 20 pitchers in 2021. No, you're right on the year. Yeah, exactly. So I'm with you. I think it definitely would be more expensive than Brujan and Aranda, but like you said, would he make the bullpen better? 100%, but it's just the price might just be a little bit too steep for what us prospect hugger Rays fans are used to paying. Yeah, but it would definitely be more than Brujan and Aranda. I mean, you'd have to go with Montgomery or something like that, Yeah,
that could be it. And quite frankly, I feel a little deflated because is Carlos Estevez going to be the difference between you winning a World Series ring and not winning a World Series ring?
No.
So
no, but maybe in the second segment, there's a name that could be that.
That's fair. All right, we'll get to that. But first, we have to tell you about something very important, and that is this. Game Time. It is the place for last-minute ticket deals. Forget planning months in advance. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. So you can get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and so much more. The Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. It is the fastest growing ticketing app in the country for a reason. So get images of your seat before you buy so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Buy tickets in a matter of seconds, 2 taps, and you are set. Then what happens is this. Tickets are sent directly to your phone, so you never have to dig through your email. So snag your favorite tickets without the stress with the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create that account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right. We are on the subject of relievers, and I think MAILBAG has something to say about that. Let's hear it.
Hey, Kevin, Ulises. Let's put our Rays GM hats on. I believe we're looking at a 95-ish win team that will scrape out the AL East title. Our offense is solid. Our pitching staff could benefit from a Jack Flaherty or Kyle Hendricks type, but the bullpen really needs some help. Teams that make a deep postseason run typically have a loaded bullpen. What's y'all's opinion on these high-leverage arms I would target as the Rays front office this trade deadline? Justin Lawrence from the Rockies, Jordan Hicks from the Cardinals, Scott Barlow from the Royals, and Josh Hader from the Padres. Do you think we go after one or more of these guys? What do you think they would cost? As always, thanks for the podcast.
Mentioned before we answer this question that I'm feeling a little deflated as a Rays fan. Yeah, I'm actually gotten to that point. This month of July has been brutal, and then you combine the injuries of Francisco Mejia and Taylor Walls. Randy Arozarena doesn't care anymore, evidently, and then you have the Braves. The Braves who just claimed Yanni Chirinos, so that means they're going to turn him into Tom Glavine because every pickup that was a former Ray that they get on their mitts, they turn into a superstar, evidently.
They explode. I mean, what? Do we have a tally now? What is it? Heller, Anderson, and now Chirinos this year? my goodness.
Yeah, I mean everybody. Yeah, I mean the
uh,
Braves are where they're at for a reason right now. I could look up their roster of former Rays. Like it's just like I feel like the Rays, the Braves front office is like, holy cow, the Rays are letting this player go. They don't want to pay this guy the money, or they don't have a roster spot for you.
We'll take
what are you
him.
doing?
We'll take them. Look, I want to first focus on.
Oh, and here's the other thing. Let me add this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. What's up?
They also trade for or acquire players that us and I think the general Rays fandom are like obsessed with. Like, oh my gosh, we could have gotten Sean Murphy, or we should have gotten Sean Murphy. Oh my gosh, Raisel Iglesias. Like, it's
Matt
amazing.
Olson. Yeah.
Matt Olson. Yeah. The list goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
So Marcell Ozuna. It's like what could have been.
Yeah. I mean, Sean Murphy was definitely the one that got away. But again, it takes two to tango. If the Oakland A's didn't want their prospects, then what can you do? You can't make them trade to you. I want to focus on something that Michael said in the beginning, which is he said, I'm pegging this team to be a 95, 96 win team, which, okay, I can see that happening. And then he said, I'll scrap the AL East title. Kevin, have you scrapped the AL East title in your opinion for this race team?
No, I'm not that deflated as of yet.
Okay, me either.
But it's not looking pretty.
It's not looking pretty. I still have yet to scratch it off the bingo card. I still think they have a shot. So, Michael.
But having said all that, and I know I made the point about, Carlos Estevez, is that going to be the difference between a World Series champion and not?
Yeah.
Maybe not. Whatever you may think, it would, I think, reinvigorate the clubhouse in a sense of, okay, they actually are making an effort. The front office is actually going out there and thinking we have a chance, as opposed to standing pat or making a very, very, very minimal move.
Well, and Bob Nightingale has been talking about the Rays, Jim Bowden, which, again, those are not two very trusted names in baseball, but they're talking. And there was I've yet to read it. I just saw the title just come up a couple hours before we started recording in the Tampa Bay Times, saying, a quote by, I think it was Bendick, saying, like, we will do whatever it takes to make this team better and all that. Which is, usually jibber jabber gets passed around in July. It's a week left, people. A week left until everything is said and done. So, the names now. Michael. First of all, chin up, bud. The AL East is still in play. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. The
names. Scott Barlow. We were talking about Scott Barlow with our friends from Friday night. Sydney, Ryan, Austin. We were talking about Scott Barlow with maybe a Zach Greinke trade.
Like tie-in, trade for two.
Yeah, maybe a battery mate there as well. Now that the Rays need some catching help. Knock, knock. Mm-hmm. Wink, wink. So that would be interesting. I do want to focus on one guy, which I wanted him last year. Didn't happen. The Padres got him, and now the Rays could get him. And he's a rental. And his name is Josh Hader. And he is a lefty that strikes people out. He is a lefty that you could give the ball to. And when he's doing well, which he has been doing well, you trust him and you put blindfolds on and you get an adult beverage. You put your feet up and you just enjoy the show, which you have not been able to do that much if you're a Rays fan and watching this bullpen this year. That's a guy who changes the outlook of this team. That is a difference maker, a guy that, like, hey, when you look back at the 2023 World Series DVD, Blu-ray, or the StreamYard, whatever they're going to show it on, that'll be an episode, a little chapter when they got Josh Hader. That's the type of talent that he is. So that's the one name out of all of them that Michael said that intrigues me the most.
Intriguing, yes. Too costly and highly unrealistic. Also, yes, I feel like.
But okay, let's dig in.
This is what we're doing. This is trade deadline season. I'm not even so convinced that the Padres are going to be trading him or Blake Snell. I think the Padres, even though they are under 500 at this juncture, that they might just hold forward and say, if there's a little sliver of a chance, if FanGraphs says we have a 1.2% chance to make the playoffs, by golly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Padres are buyers. That's how crazy they do things over there.
They do. But listen to this. They have so many guys wrapped up in long-term deals. So it's not like this is the only year that they can go for it, right? Like, I mean, what? They have Bogarts, Machado, Tatis, Cronenworth, Musgrove, Darvish.
I would think they want to extend Soto.
Exactly. They could extend so like, I think Snell and Hader, although very valuable pieces, incredibly valuable pieces, they could also use this fact that they're lower in the standings and say, hey, we can replenish our major league team for next year and really be even better suited for 2024 and maybe just, play dice for the rest of this season and see how it goes. But okay, let's say they do. Now we've solved that issue. Okay, San Diego says, you know what? Yes, we're going to trade Josh Hader. When you say it's you said highly unlikely and very costly. So we've taken the first.
He does have an expiring deal as well, but I still think it's a very expensive rental. Plus, you have the name cachet. A lot of people haven't heard of Carlos. Again, completely different players, but the name recognition of a Carlos Estevez or a Scott Barlow or a Jordan Hicks, who I think is overrated, or a Justin Lawrence, pales in comparison to Josh Hader. So Josh Hader is the creme de la creme as far as
your what's his name? AJ Preller. You're AJ Preller, the GM of the San Diego Padres. And the Rays Club calling. I'm Peter Bendix. Hey, how you doing, man? AJ, what's it gonna take for me to take Josh Hader off your hands for the 2 months for the rental? What is it gonna cost you? What are you looking at from my farm? What's your response?
So I'm AJ Preller.
Yes.
Okay.
You're living in San Diego. You're feeling good about yourself. Have a great job. Pretty house.
I like this guy named high taxes too. I like this guy named Curtis Mead. He's been hot of late. A lot of cachet with him. And Taj Bradley. Give me those two, and you got a deal.
Can I interest you? Instead of
wait? Don't bring Vidal Brujan in conversation. I'll hang up on you right now. That's the other thing. With these deals, reliever, starter, middle of the order back, Vidal Brujan is not enough.
No. People, get that out of your heads. Come on. Let's be serious. This is serious
And quite frankly, Jonathan Aranda probably isn't enough for even a guy of Estevez caliber, whatever you may think of that caliber. I think a team would be asking for a Paredes.
You need more. You need more. Aranda or Brujan is not going to get you the difference maker piece. So AJ, you're talking Curtis Mead and Taj Bradley. I hear you. Can I interest you instead in Mason Montgomery and Estevez Basabe? Now Mason Montgomery is a lefty starter. And he is our number 5 rated prospect, so he's top 5. And Estevez Basabe is an infielder, very good with the bat, very good plate discipline, very versatile, Venezuelan bump, Estevez Basabe. So he's our number 6 prospect. So we would be giving you number 5 and number 6 for 2 months of Josh Hader, which I think is ridiculously expensive, AJ, if I'm being quite frank.
Throw in Paredes and you got yourself a deal.
See, boys, ladies and gentlemen, it's difficult.
It's work. You have to have the stars align, and it has to be. Again, I know that we look at the Rays farm system and you see a lot of bats, but maybe some of these teams that are selling relievers or whatever, they're not looking for bats. Maybe they're looking for top flight arms. And can the Rays really provide top flight arms prospect? They can't really at this point.
the Padres' weakness this year hasn't been the pitching. It's been the bats.
Yeah.
So what kind of bats are you able to give them? You know, that's why maybe fake AJ Preller 3 minutes ago say Curtis Mead. You know, because that's maybe what they need.
Would you, if you were Peter Bendix, with Eric Neander looking over your shoulder, because you have to talk to your supervisor and get approval, Kyle Manzardo and Curtis Mead for 2 months of Josh Hader?
I'm going to go with American Idol's Randy's response and say, that's going to be a no for me, dog.
All right. Well, I'll let you simmer on it. Let's see.
AJ, I need you to simmer on Estevez and Mason. It's a lot. We're giving you number 5 and number 6 for only 2 months. AJ, come on. Don't play me like that. Remember, you got Jake Cronenworth. You fleeced us on this. You owe us, AJ. Come on. Don't be like that.
Estevez and Curtis Mead. How about that?
Ugh.
And Vidal Brujan.
As a little sprinkler. Give me the Brujan on the side, baby. Give me that VB.
Expired salt.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
My goodness. See, boys, ladies and gentlemen, this is why it's difficult. It's difficult.
Okay, throw Brujan out of the equation. Would you, either as fake Peter Bendix or as a Rays fan? Okay, Rays fandom, I guess, hit it in the comments. Would you be willing to give up both Kyle Manzardo and Curtis Mead together to get Josh Hader sometime this week, basically?
I would say the majority of Rays fans and Locked On Rays listeners will say, are you out of your bleeping mind, man? And I agree with them. I think it's too much. But we don't know the price right now. We don't know. We don't have the taste buds for the trade deadline. You know, we don't know how things are tasting in the market. Once these things start to roll, then you're like, oh, it might only take number 19th rated prospect, JJ Goss, and number 12th rated prospect, Ian Seymour, for a Josh Hader 2-month rental. Maybe. Or, you know what? Maybe the market is ridiculous, and it goes, you know what? No, you're going to need to give up Curtis Mead and Kyle Manzardo for 2 months of Josh Hader. We don't know that yet. So that's why this is fun, people.
It is fun, and that's why MLB trade rumors, this is when they make their money. This is when they get their hits and their clicks. But I wouldn't be so, as far as, I don't know if any of this is realistic, quite frankly. Again, with everything that the Rays are going through right now, they may just stand pat and do very little, if anything. But a Scott Barlow buy low with a track record and maybe trying to parlay that with Salvador Perez or the Zach Greinke thing, more realistically, the Greinke and Barlow team up for, I don't know, a couple prospects. And
you have to do something, Kevin, though. Like if you don't do anything to get noticeably better,
it would probably kill. As much as I say upset the apple cart, that would probably upset the apple cart by doing nothing, standing pat. Because I know that Jake Diekman has, I mean, he's even said in the Rays radio interviews of like, yeah, we'd like for the Rays to go out and acquire somebody to give us a boost.
It would be a kick in the where you're like, you lose sight of the world for a good 5 seconds. That's exactly what it would feel like if the Rays stand pat. Like, you do not want that feeling. And ladies and gentlemen, you do not want that.
All right, real quickly, this is going to be a rapid fire Marlins preview.
60 seconds or less.
Yeah. Edward Cabrera going up against Glasnow. Alcantara going up against Zach Eflin. How does this series shake out? Do the Rays win 2, go 1-1, get swept?
The Rays have a great opportunity here to get back on the winning ways. The Marlins have lost 8 out of their last 9. They just won their first one this weekend on a walk-off by Mr. 380 average, Luis Arias. Joey Wendell got that run scored. I like the matchups. Sandy Alcantara, and if it was another year than it was in 2023, I would be very scared. It's 2023, so I'm not as scared. And Zach Eflin has been amazing at home, so I like that matchup. And then Glasnow against Cabrera, you got to believe Glass now has to put the team on his back, though, and understand, like, it's up to you right now, bud. And he has yet to really deliver. And by a shiny appearance, I mean like efficient 7 innings, kind of like what we saw from Eflin the other day, where he was, I think, sub 80 pitches and went through 7 with like 8 Ks. Like, I need that from Glass now. And this is the type of lineup that both Eflin and Glass now can carve up.
Yes, I agree. And again, it is time for Glass now to step up and consistently give 6 2/3, 7 1/3. You need to start earning that $25 million that you're going to be awarded theoretically by the Rays next year. And as for Alcantara, yeah, you're right. Any other year, it would probably be him getting the W on paper versus Eflin. But it's just one of those years where it's very rare for even pitchers as good as Alcantara to have amazing years year in and year out. Heck, even Justin Verlander has had a couple dud seasons in his career.
It's a difficult sport, people. Yeah.
Yes, it is. And I'm all for, I don't care. I'm rooting for Luis Arias. What he does on a baseball field is amazing. He has as many doubles as strikeouts. That's what we're talking. He has 22 doubles and 22 strikeouts last I checked.
How do you not love that? That's amazing. Good for Luis. That's awesome.
He is this generation's Tony Gwynn. Little less power. Savor it up. Eat it up. Heck, if Arias was playing in the same era as Tony Gwynn, maybe he would be a 400 hitter. We don't know. So I will be really curious to see how he goes and approaches the likes of Glass now and Eflin and other pitchers on the Rays roster.
I'm calling it. He gets at least 3 hits this series.
Oh, yeah. I would concur and agree with that, too. So, and the other thing to consider before we wrap up, I know we're going long here, in terms of if the Rays or whatever reliever they're looking at, a different look than what the Rays presently have. So a lefty fireballer, that might fit in the equation of, hey, you want to really make opposing hitters uncomfortable and not throw the same type of arms out. I know fastball, slider, righty, up in the zone, then breaking away, like that's popular. But if you can find somebody that's a little unorthodox, like Hader, like Estevez with his delivery, then that might work out in your favor as well. But it remains to be seen, of course. In the meantime, hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you tomorrow.